Hi everyone. All right, so thank you for looking over this tutorial. I hope that this, along with the written instructions, will help you understand the new database. And if you still have questions, feel free to ask. But I request that you first go through the tutorial and read everything, and just try to see if you can get your answers, get your questions answered with the tutorial. Especially in the next 30 days. And along those lines, please save your username and your password. Again, these next 30 days are really critical for us as we move to our new web host and website, and we want to reduce the amount of time we spent doing other things like retrieving your username or having to reset your password if you forgot it. So we really appreciate your cooperation. So you enter your username and password and you log in. All right. So here's the database. It's completely different. It looks very different from the old database. It had to be recreated. And we also added a couple of new things to help us describe what we do a little bit better. That really helps with grant writing and with meeting with donors. So I thank you in advance for your patience and for learning this new system. All right, so your username is something you don't have to worry about. It's not anything you can change. It's for the database use, so you can just ignore it. The first thing you will enter is your dog's name if you visited with your dog. If you didn't visit with a dog, you just leave it blank. As soon as you go to the date field, you see that a calendar will pop up. We did that because we were seeing some errors in the dates that we were getting, and some people would just not remember when exactly they made a visit, and sometimes having a calendar in front of you helps you with that. So you can move forward or back, and you can change the month and the year, and hopefully this will just reduce errors. So just go ahead and pick out the date you make your visit. And the duration of visits in hours and your travel time is exactly the same as before. We don't want to change anything there, so just keep entering it the same way. And if you happen to, most visits are about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Some visits may be an odd number, like a 47-minute visit. If you are in that situation, I encourage you to round up. It's perfectly fine to round up a little or round down a little if you don't want to do the math and figure out the fraction of the hour that you're visiting. So if 43-minute visit becomes a 45-minute visit, that's quite okay. All right, so the next field is the type of service. We added this field because our drop-down menu that listed all the sites was getting really long. And on the back end, in terms of managing those fields, it was also getting more difficult to do that because we had so many, and it was easy. It was getting too easy to make a mistake because there were just so many items listed. So what we did is we shortened them by categorizing them. So now you will choose the type of location that you're going to. And we created 6 major types. All sites will fit into one of these. So administrative recertify is everything that has to do with non-direct services. Or events. No fundraising events and no direct services. It's basically all the administrative kind of stuff. So if you are going to extra training or you're going to a meeting to try to add another site to our repertoire, or if you're a board member and you're going to meetings or doing board work, this is where you would enter it. The next one is children and young adult services. Again, if you are going to a site that serves primarily kids or young adults like college students, that's where you would, that's what the choice you would select. Hospitals, clinics, state facilities under this one. nursing home, memory care, anything related to seniors is basically what we're getting at here. Assisted living centers, independent living centers, etc. Outside Austin area. This doesn't include immediately surrounding areas like Round Rock or Hutto. This is really quite outside of Austin. So this would be Brownwood, Fort Hood, the Hill Country, and special events or visits. These are fundraising events, or it might be a special one-time only kind of visit, like a readathon or something like that. All right, so if I choose Admin Recertify, it'll automatically pop up this next menu, which is the location, the all the locations that are listed under Admin Recertify, or all the activities. So I selected Admin Recertify, and that brings me these options. One of these will fit your needs. There's also an other. If one of these doesn't fit your needs, you can select other, and that'll be fine. We are more concerned with making sure we know what kind of direct services you provide to clients. So the administrative doesn't have a whole bunch of options. We can always add options if these really don't fit your needs, but for now, these are the options we have. All right, so that's an admin recertify. So let's look at the children and young adults. All the sites that serve children and young adults are here. All right. If I choose hospital clinics, it should be all the clinics and hospitals and rehab centers that we visit. If I choose nursing home memory care, it should have our 4 nursing homes and memory care units in Austin. Outside Austin area, it's a hodgepodge of different types, but it's all of them are outside of Austin and outside our, Pflugerville and all the surrounding communities. They're way outside Austin. All right, so special events. I am gonna choose Barks for Beers because that's coming up. These are the main options. Of course, we're always adding different options under special visits or one-time only visits. We're having the Pure Fitness Expo. So actually, let's add that. If your visit or event isn't listed, you would choose other and you would just type it in. So I could say Pure Expo booth. All right. Now you would choose the type of visit. This is also a new field that we added. The type of visit along with number of clients visited together help us calculate a more accurate number of clients that we serve. The type of visit is unlike anything we've ever collected, so I will spend a few extra minutes describing it. So we have 3 major types of visits that we normally do. A group visit, the way we define it, is when we are present with other teams while we visit with a client. So it might be that we are in a common area like a lobby or one big room where there's a bunch of teams there, and I am surrounded by other team members and all of us are mingling with each other and clients at the same time. So typically that would be like at ASH or in a nursing home, in a lobby in a nursing home, or even if you just pair up with one other person and you go visit patients in their hospital rooms, you're not alone with that client, you're with another team member. So whenever if you don't know whether you're in a group or individual situation, look around you. If you don't have a team within earshot that's next to you visiting with that client, if that client can only interact with you, then that is not a group visit. That's an individual visit. So that means that you're visiting with a client and there's no one else there, no other team member there with the client at the same time. And that's really key. It's how many teams are present with a client at the same time. If it's just you, then it's an individual visit. If it's you and somebody else or another team or a bunch of other teams, then it's a group visit. It doesn't matter if you're alone with 10 clients. As long as there's no other team members there, it's still an individual visit. And I sent you guys login instructions, and at the very end on the last page, there is a bunch of examples of the difference between a group visit and an individual visit, the way we define it. Finally, there is a third option, and that is when it's not just one type of visit you make. Maybe you start off in a group, and by the end of the visit, you're alone with, you separate from everyone else and you do your own thing with, a few of the clients. So you might end up doing both group visits and individual visits on the same day. So that would be the option you choose there. If you're doing an event, most likely it's just going to be a big group visit, unless it's a small event and you're the only team that's booked, during that time period. But if it's you and another team that's manning the booth, then it's going to be a group visit. And finally, number of clients. These are in a range, so you just select the one that most closely resembles the group size. I'm just going to say that during my 2-hour Pure Expo booth smithing, I encountered around 20 people, so that's what I would choose. All right, and when you're done, you would hit submit, and I will do that momentarily, but I just wanted to take a moment to show you this part here. This is for people who don't log their visits very often, and sometimes they lose track of where they left off. So if you tend to enter all your visits, at the end of the month or after a couple of months, you might lose track of, did I enter that or did I not enter that? So this is a table that will list all the visits you made that you entered into the database in the last 30 days. So even if you haven't made a visit in the last 30 days, but you entered something in the last 30 days, this is where it'll show up. So that's just a courtesy so that you can see where you left off. I've been practicing, as you can see, so there's a lot of visits there. If you see nothing underneath this heading, it means you haven't entered anything in the database in the last 30 days. All right, so when you're done, you just hit submit, and it'll take you out of there. And this allows you to, if you need to add more hours, you can just click on this and it'll go back. The reminder stays at the bottom, so you'll always see that. All right, and that's it. We will be sending you more tips on how to use the website and the database as we get closer to moving. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please ask. I encourage you to take a tour of the new website so you can get to know where everything is. And it also gives you a chance to give us feedback and say, hey, I was just very confused about where things were. And that really will help us improve it for next time. So just give us feedback. We're always grateful to receive it. We may not always be able to act on everyone's feedback, but we'll definitely listen to everyone's feedback because we really value it. Thank you.